Zero, because in that plan that I put forward, and I said from the outset, I said I'm running to change the dynamic of how the economy grows. I'm tired of trickle down.
We have a ton of good news to cover surrounding the fourth stimulus check, so you want to be sure to stay until the end of this video. Support for the fourth round of stimulus payments continues to grow. That's great news for all of us. As unemployment shot up to historic highs because of the crisis, new data showed that the poverty rate actually went. Congress projected people who lost work with legislation. That included necessary expansions to unemployment insurance. Reforming unemployment insurance will ensure similar safeguards are in place at all times.
That if you work 40 hours a week, you should not live in poverty. We should raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15. Remember that? Well, 4 years ago, that was a radical idea.
I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Here's what you need to know about the fourth stimulus check. Now, a senior advocacy group is pushing Congress to deliver legislation that will provide a fourth stimulus check of $1,400 to all Social Security recipients in the United States of America. That campaign comes as calling it a monthly cash payment of $2,000, nears around 3 million signatures. So yes, everybody, our seniors can receive a $1,400 stimulus check, and many Americans can receive a $2,000 once Congress takes the action that is necessary. The nonpartisan Senior Citizens League has spent September collecting signatures for a petition that calls for congressional lawmakers to pass another round of $1,400 emergency stimulus checks. This is done to assist an estimated 69 million Social Security beneficiaries, including retirees and disabled adults and their dependents. Do you agree with this fourth stimulus bill being passed? Should our seniors receive a $1,400 stimulus, and should we receive a $2,000 payment every single month? Tell me what you think about this, everybody, in the comments. The petition for Social Security beneficiaries states that Social Security benefits are one of the few types of income in retirement adjusted for inflation, but soaring inflation has taken a toll on household finances and disabled Social Security recipients. Data collected by the group suggests there may be a 6.2% increase to the cost of living adjustment in 2022.
4 years ago, I said that we have a crumbling infrastructure, that is our roads and our bridges and our wastewater systems and our water systems. We should invest $1 trillion and create 15 million decent paying jobs. And people said, $1 trillion, that's so much. That's what everybody is talking about now. And that is exactly what we have got to do.
And that exceeds this year's increase of 1.3% to benefits. There is a chance that parents did not get their September child tax credit payment on time. So yeah, folks, we have a lot of news to go over in today's fourth stimulus check update. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest news surrounding stimulus payments, be sure to stay until the end of this video. So far, federal crisis supported millions of workers and their families during a period of great hardship. Now, gig workers were typically ineligible for state unemployment insurance, could actually qualify for federal assistance. The higher benefit amounts distributed were associated with reduced food insecurity, and the improved benefit durations allowed for financial stability across many months of unemployment. Last month's expiration of federal unemployment programs ensured the immediate resumption of that inadequate system. It has hurt so far tens of millions of workers. So without implementing improved and lasting national standards in a reconciliation bill, Congress once again risks making porous decisions surrounding the unemployment insurance. Now, major economic downturns like the past year and a half have resulted in extended periods of unemployment. These moments typically receive intensive media attention and legislative responses. In 2019 alone, the equivalent of 11% of the total labor force went from employed to an unemployed designation at some point. Meanwhile, state unemployment insurance systems excluded most by design. Workers in the United States require the same consistent income projections provided to people that are transitioning between jobs in other nations.
Yesterday, the White House began advising agencies to begin preparing for a potential shutdown. For the Department of Defense, what does that look like? What is DoD doing in case there is a shutdown, in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so, obviously we hope that Congress will prevent a costly shutdown. The administration's efforts remain focused on preventing a shutdown and a catastrophic default. In the meantime, OMB is preparing for any contingency, as is consistent with longstanding practice across multiple administrations, and certainly I'd point you to them for more information on that. As for how it would impact, the determinations about specific programs are being reviewed, consistent with longstanding practice across, again, multiple administrations. Our efforts remain, again, on trying to prevent a costly shutdown. we obviously will take seriously, as we always do, and as I think you've seen through previous shutdowns, should there be one, that we have to continue to defend the nation, and we have to make sure that the capabilities, the resources, the people are in place to continue to look after our national security interests. And so we're working our way through that right now.
And just to follow up on that, in previous shutdowns, there's been a lot of hand-wringing or work on who is an essential government employee, who is furloughed. Is DoD doing a kind of deep scrub on who would really be asked to come in and who would potentially be furloughed?
Yeah, we're working through that right now, Tara. I don't have any specific details for that for you today, but we're working through all that as you would expect we would and have done in the past. Again, hopefully there won't be one. Nobody wants to see that, and the administration is working hard to try to prevent this. The core essential task of the department will carry on, and that is to defend the nation.
I wanted to follow up on the earlier question. Do you have any update on the requirement for civilian DoD personnel to be? Are you telling them that they need to be by the White House's November 22nd date? And have you come up with an enforcement mechanism for that?
No, it's a great question. We're working through that right now, Travis. We don't have implementation guidance out to the force yet, but we expect to be able to do that pretty soon.
But whose obligation it is to do that changes from time to time, depending upon the government the American people. And right now, we have Democratic president, Democratic House, Democratic. The previous debt ceiling was negotiated on a bipartisan basis in conjunction with a caps deal. It's not being negotiated on a bipartisan basis because obviously we're not involved in any bipartisan discussion regarding the reckless taxing and spending legislation that they are having apparently some challenges in putting together because of its comprehensive reach and because of its devastating impact on the American.
Tomorrow, would that be enough for you in the House Progressives for the infrastructure bill?
Well, the reconciliation bill does have to start in the House because it's a budget reconciliation bill.
Right.
But everything should be agreed upon. What we don't want to
So an
have
agreement's
happen,
good.
Well,
That's
no,
good.
but an agreement of exactly what's in there. The language needs to be worked out because
And a commitment that everybody's going to vote for.
everyone's going to vote for it. And